What's up, viewers? Matt here from Dry Heat Tactical. Today I've got my LMT Mars-H and the oh-so-beautiful retro quad rail. We're going to go over a couple things here. One, we're going to go over why I have the attachments on it that I do, what my purpose was for this gun and why I acquired it, and I'm going to go over some alternatives that you might be interested in. So stay tuned, keep watching, and enjoy the video. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a LMT Mars-H here, quad rail version. There's an M-Lock version as well, and this is going to be... well, I'll go over the barrel and the specifications later, but this is going to be my DMR battle rifle build. Now, when looking at battle rifles and DMRs, there were quite a few options to choose from. And originally I had started out with a Aero Precision idea of the, I think it's the M5. I was going to do an M5 build, 308, keep it at $1,000. Then I looked at Palmetto State. They had a great deal where you get them for like, I think $650, $700 for a battle rifle and 308. But ultimately I decided, I kind of at this point in time, and this was like for a year, for a year I was going back and forth on what I wanted to do. And then I decided maybe I should do a bolt action. No. So I thought about it. What are my purposes for this? One, I wanted this to be accurate and I wanted distance. So precision rifle, that was the main thing. Had to be accurate, had to get distance because I had 5.56 calibers. I had 7.62 and I wanted 7.62 by 39 and I wanted to push the envelope. I wanted something that could reach out to 1,000 yards, 700-800 comfortably. So the purpose of this was, okay, I need a bigger caliber. So 308 was the choice. Could have gone with 6.5 Creedmoor, but I wanted the round to be more available. In the past, especially when we had the ammo shortage in the pandemic, the 6.5 Creedmoor round was so much harder to find than the 308 round. So I wanted something that was going to be more common, and I also wanted something that was going to get distance. So I went with 308. Now, the second thing that I wanted to choose with this is it had to be reliable. I wanted absolute rugged durability and reliability. I would have sacrificed aesthetics. I would have sacrificed whatever else. I wanted this to be the rifle that I could take into adverse environments. I could use it, rely on it, throw it around. This thing was going to be built tough. So that was my second thing. The third was probably aesthetics. That was like the last choice that I made when thinking about the build for this rifle was considering aesthetics. Ultimately, though, that's what led me to this rifle. And we're going to go over a couple of the attachments and why I chose this one and what the alternatives were that were battling for it, battling for the battle rifle position, which ones were contenders that I almost purchased as well. All right, so first things first, we are going to check the rifle. I'm going to check the magazine. We are going to check the chamber. Good to go. Pull the trigger in a safe environment. Okay, we are clear. So we're going to start with the suppressor. This is the Huxworks Venom 7.62 or just 308 7.62 suppressor. I had purchased this before actually purchasing the rifle, just admiring it, knowing that eventually I was going to get a 308 rifle or an AK at some point, and I wanted this can. It was a great price. It was my first time getting into a flow-through can, and boy, am I happy that I chose a flow-through can for this specific build. I'll tell you why in a second. So we have the Huxworks. It's on a Silencer Co. Chemo adapter, and then underneath it is a Silencer Co. muzzle brake that just threaded on. Then underneath it, this is what's... So I bought this bipod also before I bought the rifle, knowing what I was going to buy, and I was at a store, and the AccuTac bipod was something that caught my eye. Previously, I had only thought of the Harris bipods, but this one caught my eye just from the looks, and it turns out that it was a very reliable, durable bipod. And so I was like, you know what? This gun is going for durability. It's going for reliability. I want to grab something that is a tank of a bipod. And so thus we have the AccuTac. Now I have the specs right here. I can't memorize them all, so I'm going to read them to you. But this is the SR5G2. Now these just pull out for extra length. Then you have, some retention there to snap them back in place. To adjust the bipod itself, you just pull out, and then it has cogs that will latch each arm in place. And you can choose to store it back. You can choose to store it forward. And then there's a lever down here to adjust the left and right pivot. This does not have a ball swivel, so you're not going to be able to rotate left or right, but you can cant left and right. As well. The other cool thing that I liked about this were the feet. The feet actually twist out. Let's see if I can get it here. Well, I don't want to take them all the way out. But these feet twist out and you can get different feet for it. There's spikes, posts, there's all kinds of different feet that attach to it. So this bipod was phenomenal. It's made out of aluminum alloy. I believe it's 6061. Let me actually check the specs. Yeah, 6061 aluminum alloy, 4 leg positions that work individually. And it's made out of billet aluminum. Cool. 9 height adjustments. Phenomenal product. I think I paid $330 for it. And then the coating, the black coating, is a Type 3 mil-spec hard anodized. I think that's all we got here. But again, it's the SR5G2. Bipod has been phenomenal, very stable. Again, it adds to the ruggedness and the durability and the reliability of the overall build that I was going for. Into the barrel. The barrel is going to be chrome moly lined. I also have the specs here because there was a couple of them, but it's a 16-inch barrel. This is a part of LMT's new system. It is all one component up here. So this barrel was designed to be able to be interchanged. Now they have a 13-inch barrel. There's a smaller barrel. There's an 18-inch, and then there's a 20-inch and 6.5 Creedmoor. But the gas tube and the gas design is locked into the barrel so that you can remove it by releasing these pins here. You take the barrel out, you swap a new one in, you change your caliber, but your system remains the same. So I would like to get some other barrels in the future. I'd like to get the 18-inch, and I would also like to get the 20-inch and 6.5 Creedmoor. That way you could really extend the length of this gun. But those are really hard to find, and they're kind of expensive. So we'll see for the future. But overall, this gun so far, just from the barrel, it's going to be reliable. It's going to be durable. It's nice, thick. It's going to take that extra heat. And when we're considering shooting out to distance, especially in a semi-auto platform, thinner, skinnier, cheaper barrels are not going to handle the heat as well. And as I've learned, shooting, when you fire multiple rounds, as the barrel gets hot, the accuracy changes. So it's very important to have a very nice, thick, sturdy, heavy barrel put in this gun. So that was one of the thought processes also why I liked this rifle. The quad rail is LMT's, upper, it's one piece, all monolithic design. It came with the LMT handguard rails. Yes. And then moving back to the firearm, let's see here. The optic setup. So when choosing an optic setup, I was kind of lost here. I had gotten a little bit of help from a friend who helped us explain kind of what helped me figure out my purpose for how far I wanted to go and what optic setup I needed. Because an LPVO wasn't really going to cut it for the amount of distance that I wanted to achieve. So obviously I was looking at the Leupold Mark IVs and the Leupold Mark Vs and those scopes that are able to do 3 to 18, something with a lot more magnification. And ultimately, I went with this AccuFire Prospectus, and it might be a company that you haven't heard of, but I had a good deal for it. Someone had a good deal for me, and I got this extremely cheap. And so I went with this scope. This is going to be a 2.5 to 20 by 50 scope. So this has some serious magnification. Nothing like a 25, a 30, but this has some magnification, quite a bit. It also has a return to zero feature. It has an illuminated reticle. This thing is, and it's also in MILRAD. So as I learn more, MRAD, as I learn more about long distance shooting, right now I'm not really utilizing these key features, but they are very important, as I've done in research, to have these features when trying to shoot out to distance. So as I learn more about long distance shooting and accuracy and precision, and then I will be able to utilize this better. But ultimately, it was an all-in-one package. It had the flip covers here. I enjoyed the reticle. It was more like the Christmas tree reticle, and it has all my deviations in it. And then it also came with the throw lever. That was just something that intrigued me, is that it came with the throw lever. It was set in stone. And then as far as the mount, this is a ScalarWorks. It's a 34 millimeter mount. It is a 34 millimeter tube. The eye relief on it is quite fantastic. I actually have a spec here. I'm going to read to you real quick. Sorry, forgive me. But 3.5-inch eye relief. The overall length is 352 millimeters. The weight is 820 grams. I apologize that I don't have the calculations for you. I think you can plug that into your phone and figure it out yourself. Field of view at its lowest setting is 44.2 feet, 100 yards. And then field of view at its highest setting is 6.4 feet at about 100 yards. So it's pretty nice. I like it. it's a solid scope. It's done a good job. It fits my need. Paired to it is going to be a Delta Point Pro. It's on a Leopold 45-degree offset mount. And I wanted to have a backup. This was going to be used for long range shooting, but in the small percentage chance that there is a close engagement or there are targets that are moving in or there's some form of close engagement that is needed, I wanted to just have something on the side that I was able to cant to and use as a red dot, because this at the lowest setting of 3 or 2.5 magnification, or if you had a different scope that was 3 to 4 magnification, that is going to have, you're not going to be as quick with it, and it'll work, but I wanted to have a red dot just in case. Thought about doing a rifle light to pair with that. Ultimately, I haven't done it, and I love to have rifle lights on everything. It's so important to be able to identify your target at night. However, I haven't gone with it. Maybe you can help me in the comments and let me know if I should put a rifle light on this. It's just the type of engagements I'm going to be doing, or the purpose built for this rifle is for distance, and a flashlight isn't going to reach out to the distances that I want to shoot to, or that I would be picking up this rifle for. So the only thing it would be useful for is if I ever use this 45-degree offset red dot. But in most cases, I would rather grab a different firearm if that's the case, but maybe this is the only one I have. So let me know in the comments. Let me know if I should put a rifle light on this. Otherwise, I'm going to keep this as is, pretty much. The LMT also comes with a ambidextrous charging handle. It's a mil-spec charging handle, but it's got the 2 latches on each side. It comes with their bolt carrier group. The lower is awesome. These LMT lowers are amazing. I would love to get a couple of them in 5.56 because the ambidextrous features of it, plain and simple, full ambidextrous. Safety selector. Oh, I gotta charge it. Safety selector is ambidextrous. The trigger is LMT's 2-stage match trigger that I believe is about a 4-pound pull, 3.5, 4. It's good. I like it. I haven't replaced it yet. Eventually in the future, I would like to replace it with a Geisley trigger, but this one has done a good job. If you're going for really, really far distances and you need that crisp precision trigger, it does have a little bit of slop in it. Let me see if I can try to demonstrate this for you. Again, the firearm has been cleared, but if I hold this up, here we go. So first stage take up, hits a wall. It's very clear when it hits the wall. But then when you go to pull the trigger, there is a little bit of creep. There's almost like 2 stages of creep. So 1, 2, yeah. And then the reset, very positive reset. We let go. Very positive reset. Hard click. But the actual pull of the trigger it's more, I wouldn't say it's like a match trigger. I'd say it's more of just an AR trigger, if you were like a battle trigger. However, this is kind of designed like a battle rifle. But again, you can replace it with the Geisley trigger, be a lot better. But overall, I'm happy with it. Again, though, with the lower, going back to it, this has ambidextrous magazine release. Ambidextrous magazine release. This also has the ambidextrous bolt catch and bolt release. So I can lock the bolt back using my finger here, and then I can also release it. It's a heavy gun. Lowers are phenomenal. The grip is one of the Ergo grips. I've wrapped it in some goon tape. And then also on the back, we're going to have the B5 stock. This is the LMT marked stock since I bought this rifle as a whole. So this is just the LMT trademarked B5 stop mod stock. And then for the sling, we're going to have a T-Rex Arms adjustable padded sling. As far as sling choices go, I bought this one because I hadn't tried T-Rex Arms slings yet, and I wanted to get a feel for them. For this type of rifle, I think I'm going to go with a little bit more of a heavy duty sling. I'll probably end up buying like a padded Vickers sling. That seems like it would be more appropriate for this. The T-Rex arm sling is great. It's very lightweight. It's very thin. It's very mobile, and it's already, how do you explain it? It's kind of already worn in. It's not very stiff. However, for something this heavy and this rugged, I think I would want something a little bit more beefy for my sling. However, this is a phenomenal sling, and I would run it on other ARs and other submachine gun-like platforms. But for now, that's what I've got on it. It's great. All right. next on the agenda, let's talk about some magazines. So the magazine that came with the rifle was a Magpul Gen 3, 7.62 by 51, and this is the 20 round capacity. Very positive. Click. Tolerance issues, not too bad. The ejection, sometimes it ejects freely, sometimes it doesn't. Maybe if I just hang it down, yep, it'll eject freely. But this magazine, I bought a couple of them. They're about, you can find them for about $12, $13, $14 on a good sale. And these are tried and true. P-Mags are phenomenal for their reliability, and also like these are great to have many of. If you wanted to spend 100, 150 bucks on a bunch of magazines for this, like this would be a great option to do, and you'll get more of them for your money. Magazines are, I don't want to say a depreciating asset, but the springs wear out and then you throw them away. You can respring a magazine, but you just want the magazines in quantities. So this would be a good one to have. The second option that we have, which is aesthetically far more pleasing to the eye, in my personal opinion, is going to be the Lancer Mag. This is 20 rounds, and it has some reinforced lips, and it also right here and on the sides. The durability of the mag in general just feels more solid. There's also a couple features on it as far as the dimples on the side here. So when I am grabbing this out of my plate carrier, the positive, just the grip from it, and also the kind of the wideness of the base plate. So Magpul has the same thing going for it. There's a little bit of a ledge on there to help with gripping it. This one feels phenomenal when I grab it. I don't know why, it just does. And it feels a lot more firm. I would assume in theory, I haven't tested it out long enough, but I would assume in theory that the reinforced lips would help with the durability and keeping the rounds from expanding the polymer lips on the magazine. Whereas this, I've known that some mags can over time, especially if you're storing them for long periods of time, the pressure will expand the feed lips. So this is a good option. This one also sits very positive. Let me turn it around. Good click. Ejects freely. Let's try it again from an angle. So this one actually ejects a little bit more freely than the Magpul Mag does. But aesthetically pleasing, come on, man. I like that a lot better. I think the straight look is phenomenal. Now, this comes at a cost. This is going to be a lot more expensive. I think these are anywhere from $22 to $30, depending on where you buy them, what sale you're on, or who you're bribing. These are going to be a little bit more expensive. They're a far more superior feeling product. However, the Magpul is unquestionably still a very renowned product. Pick and choose. I've gotten a couple of these, but I have more of these, and this is also lighter in general than this. Now, another positive to this magazine is fitting them in my plate carrier. Because of its straight design, this fits a lot better. I don't know, this fits and seats just a little bit more cleanly with my pouches. Not that this has any issues either. I mean, this is hardly bent at all. It's not like an AK magazine, or sorry, an AK-47 magazine, but this does seat well. However, for some reason, this just going straight down feels phenomenal. And I'm also, it's when I go to grab them, if I have multiple in my plate carrier, I'm not having an issue with the magazines colliding into each other. They're just straight up and down. They have their own space. My fingers get a positive grip on it, and then I rip them out. So take that into consideration when deciding on magazines. All right, guys, we're going to circle back on suppressors because I talked about it earlier in the video, and I want to describe why we went with this suppressor option. So Huxworks Venom 7.62 flow-through can. Now, the gas on this rifle was a little bit much. It was overgassed. That's typical. It's like a Mark 18 where it's overgassed on purpose to be able to function more reliably and also in adverse conditions. So we needed to solve that. Originally, I had a can on here. It was just a Silencer Co. Omega 36M, I believe, and the can was great. However, I was getting a lot of gas in my face, and my rounds were ejecting forward. If you don't know, if your rounds are ejecting forward, typically that could mean the gun is overgassed. There's a lot of gas coming back into the rifle that is cycling the action quickly, and it's sending the rounds forward. Undergassed, they go backwards, or they barely come out at all. And perfect would be right around that 3 o'clock position coming straight at you. So I wanted to try to tune the gas a little bit. Now I knew this can was coming, so I was gonna wait. The thing I could have done immediately was increase the buffer weight, and that would have slowed the action down a little bit. You still have the same gas coming back, but it slows the action down. And it helps with some suppressor tuning. It's very common on AR-15 rifles, and I was going to do it with this. Now I waited for the flow through. The flow through ended up coming in, and the flow through design, also if you're unfamiliar, it just allows some gas to come through the front of the rifle. Now I'm going to point this at you. There's some vents on the side here that allow some gases to escape. That solved my problem immediately. As soon as I threw this on, my rounds were ejecting at the 3 o'clock position. Occasionally, one might be slightly angled forward, but I'd rather have just a tidbit more gas than less, so that way the rifle is functioning properly and it's ejecting those rounds, and it's consistent. So overall, this can has been phenomenal. It is, I believe, 16 ounces. It's not as heavy as the Omega was, which, God, this any ounces you can get shaved off of this thing, I mean, it's a beefy gun. So anything you can shave off is great. But ultimately, that was the suppressor option, and that's what I chose with it, and it's been phenomenal. The sound reduction on this 308 is going to be, and I keep saying 308, I apologize. It is chambered in 7.62 by 51. You can shoot 308 out of it, but this is 7.62 by 51. And so anyways, the suppressor for it has performed phenomenally. It heats up just like a normal suppressor. I can't really comment too much on the heat of it, but as far as sound reduction goes, I'm not noticing too big of a flash with that flow through design. And I'm also noticing a very, very solid reduction in sound, especially when coming to this larger caliber. All right, guys, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I covered everything in this. I think ultimately I did accomplish what I wanted to accomplish. I have a rifle that can shoot out to 700-800 yards easily, 1,000 yards with some practice. It is durable. All the pieces and products on here are rated and reliable. They're from known manufacturers. And I believe I have built my goal perfectly. Now, there's a couple things that you could probably do it differently. I would love to hear your recommendations. Do I need to put a flashlight on this, even though I'm engaging at further distances? Leave a note in the comments. Give me feedback. I am still learning about long distance shooting as well. And all this money spent on a rifle and all these cool gadgets and, you know, an expensive LMT Mars-H doesn't really mean anything unless I learn how to use it properly. So I will be getting myself educated on how to properly shoot long distance, as you should as well if you are looking to get into this product or this type of shooting. Overall, though, I hope you enjoy the video. Thank you so much. And as always, stay cool.